Cause inflation.
You have the money.
Yeah, they show oil money.
Welcome to the Sports Nation TV, and this is another or latest episode of the Inbound Show. And I'm your usual host, Kawalya. Reminder for those of you who are watching us for the first time, the Inbound, we normally talk nothing but local basketball. But today we want to cross borders a little bit and talk about the Basketball Africa League, where obviously we have a representative in 19 NBL winners, the City Oilers, for that Basketball Africa League group stages that are going to be starting this Friday. But not only that, we also reflect on the conclusion of the first round of the National Basketball League that I think climaxed on Sunday with three scheduled games. That and more on this show, and I'm going to be joined by my colleague Franklin Kaweru, who joins us once again. Today I'm going to talk about his expertise, but Franklin Kaweru
I'm no longer a guest.
yeah, like he has put it, he's no longer a guest. A bit about him is the sports editor, or the editor, or chief editor for Kaweru Sports. Franklin, good to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Brian. Interesting topics you have unveiled. I mean, BAL, it's about time. It's been a long time coming. We've been waiting for after watching the other conferences. It's now our time. And of course, the local league that has, I think, unveiled a few stars and promises an interesting second round. Excited for the show. For sure.
Yes, City Oilers have been talking you of air that they should do as if they qualify for the BAL playoffs, and that are going to be held in Rwanda.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that for a long time, but of course, with or without the Oilers, you have been together.
You have to go.
But it will be a bit better if we have the Oilers there, because the last time I was in Kigali with the Oilers was in 2019 when they tried to qualify for the very first Basketball Africa League, and unfortunately,
Was that road to BAL?
Yes.
Or elite?
Elite team, which is of course the road to BAL anyway. Yeah, and they did not, unfortunately, because of a single injury to Mayes, and they couldn't get over the hump. But hopefully this time.
But there is no chance of me going to Kigali for those BAL playoffs without the Oilers.
Why would you not? You're interested in
but anyway, by the way, I shall come with a fully funded trip.
You did not. They promised you that for women's acrobatics. You did not show up. Maybe it is still pending. You need to get in touch with us.
But
to get those facts.
But as we speak, City Oilers are already in Egypt, where the BAL playoffs, the BAL group stages, they're in that Nile conference group. You remember 12 teams for this BAL regular season. Those 12 teams were divided into three groups. That is the Nile, Kalahari, and of course Sahara. Kalahari is a new group, and I think they concluded their group. I think with FUS Rabat qualifying
directly.
Yes, qualifying directly, and of course the equation is that of those three groups, the top two teams qualify directly to the BAL playoffs. Then the best two third place teams also have a chance to qualify for the playoffs. The playoffs will be held in Rwanda, like we said, in Kigali. That is, I think, around May 24 to June 1st. But now all focus is on City Oilers group, that is the Sahara group, the Nile group that has City Oilers from Uganda, the defending champions Alali, and of course Alali Benghazi, because those are two Alali teams. Alali Benghazi is from Libya, and of course Bangui from Central African Republic. How do you weigh in on that group?
Any group at this level is tough. regardless of how you look at it. Every conference is tough because by the time the team gets out of the experience, get into the regular season of the BAL, they have done enough and they have done enough homework to get to this level. And obviously, the recruitment, the players that they add in are always they always want to get to the playoffs. So whichever way you look at it, it's not a simple level where you're going to go and then you just going to match onto the next round. So they all have to be at their best in order to get those 2 wins that guarantee them a place in the playoffs.
And then if you look at that group specifically team by team, of course they are the defending champions, Al Ahly, and it's going to be tough for Steelers. But
More so
remember this,
even being the opening game.
yes, and yeah, because they face them on Friday 19th. And but if you look at um, the BAL last year, because you remember Steelers were in that group also that had Al Ahly, and it was a tough contest. I remember Steelers lost by 2 points, if I'm not mistaken, 70-70. So maybe this time they will feel that we are not going to be fearing you, we are going to be attacking you from the one group. And I think they may not fancy their chances, but at least in them they have that belief that maybe we can cause an upset in the opening. It's going to be tough against the defending champions. It's an opening game, and of course it's about the team that's hosting. Maybe if I'm to ask you about your opinion, do you think that Sitoilas might have a chance to cause an opening day show in that group?
I want to look at it in 2 ways. One, it's a good thing that the players that are returning for this competition, I'm talking about the home-based players, were part of that game. Actually, were important pieces when Seoul was fighting back to get into that game. Okay, this is not undermining the work that Palando and
Was it safe?
not Petty, the name slips mind, the isolation guard who was playing for Seoul. I think not undermining the work, but most of the hard work in that game was done by the home-based guys, and I think that was experience enough to get them to believe that, look, at this level, I think we belong, okay? Never mind, we play from home, we belong to this level, and you're going to expect these guys to do the same. I mean, Tony is a tough boy, okay? Titus has come of age, Bayed has come of age, James Okelo, no question about and what he brings to that team. So you want to believe first the local based guys, the home based guys have what it takes to compete. At least they have shown that, they have shown it over the years, not just for Steelers but for the national team as well. So you expect the game to be completed really.
Yes, and on that Steelers roster, of course, they because they took 6 home-based players, including Ivan Muezi, and of course the young Alawi Senkebubu, which I think is a requirement for your final team to have. Yes, a youth player in their roster. But then in that local-based squad, there are some missing names, starting with the Silverback captain Jimmy Enabu.
I think Jimmy Nabe expressed his ability much earlier, before even the qualifiers. That he's most likely not going to be available. At least I got to know about that, that he's not going to be available for BAL and all that.
And actually, I saw the last training session which they had here in Lugogo, and they were literally limping, and they didn't complete that last training session. But they have a new coach in Karim Mesbah from Morocco. I don't know if you have anything I want to say about the coach, which I think you must have seen him while training that NBA academy team.
Yeah, I think his experience with the African game is important. His experience with the African players is really important, and of course, seeing how the NBA academy kids have been competing in the road bar, okay, because they are always there, and with the way they have been competing, you know, this is the coach is very capable of delivering.
And then I had an interview with him before the team left, and he talked about the familiarity he has with the spoilers players because he has faced them on the national team because he's Moroccan and you know the contest that have happened in the past, Moroccan and Silverback. And he mentioned familiar names like Jimmy Nabu, Ben Komakic, who's part of the technical team. He also talked about James Okello, those familiar names. Do you think that that chemistry already there between the new coach and of course the players? Because when the team brings in a new coach, we had about 2 to 3 weeks with the team. We saw his staff going out there, the understanding of the players and everything around that.
That the thing is when you bring in an African-based coach, I mean a coach who follows African basketball, he's going to have interest in every other player that is playing at the top level on the continent. So having that familiarity with the players that he's coaching gives him another. The communication is not going to be a problem. Okay, he's not going to be introducing very new stuff. He knows at least the competences of some of these players because he watched them like over time and competed against them. So that I think makes his work a little bit easier when it comes to putting these players into his setup, his technical setup. We want them to be out there playing.
And when they looking about talking about the Shidela's roster, they included, of course, those foreign-based players. There is this NBA Academy Elevate player, Kaman Maluwat.
Very competitive team.
Then there
I'm excited about what he's going to bring to this team. Of course, he has committed Duke, but Kaman is a very competitive who understands the game. I think, to me, I think he's one of the top 2 kids from that NBA Academy. I think they all got a very good player.
About this, because I understand that every team that's competing at this stage is given an NBA academy player.
Yeah.
How is this done? Is there something like a draft?
No, not exactly. It's the academy that decides
which player should go,
who should go where and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So what are the chances that you get the best player out of from a pool of?
No, the thing is, these players, I think, by the time you get to the point where you're given to play into the BAL, I think you're at a level where you're almost at a plateau. Like you're not far away from your next peer. You know, there is not a huge difference between these kids, really, in terms of being competitive and in terms of what they bring to the team.
Yes, and after Marat is going to be playing for a third season in BAL. Yeah. And then there is Dan Miller, there is Robinson Opong, there is Baron Sevirumbi, there is Patrick Ronald, and there is Ahmed Bashir. The last 2, of course, we are hearing them for the first time, but the other 3 have been part of Oilers for the previous campaigns. I'll start with, of course, these new faces, Patrick Ronald Rembert and, of course, Ahmed Bashir Mohammed. We have a clue about who they are.
Yeah, I think I know. I'm more familiar with Rembert. One of the things that BAL has demonstrated over the years is that when you bring in a pro player, that pro player has to have the scoring ability. Okay, but it's just not scoring for the Oilers. We saw from the last outing last year, scoring was not just enough. The biggest issue for them was the teamwork. They needed a team player. They needed team players. You can score, yes, but you need to score with a team. And of the time I've seen Rembert, he's that kind of team player. Okay, from his club, and for Oil, that is what they needed. They needed to work as a collective. You know, it gets to a point where you're a good player, yes, but of course you're going to be targeted by scouts of the opponent side, and so they're going to get you into very tough position, and now you need to get that ball out. And that is one thing that we appreciated with Dan Miller during the road to BAL. I think the game against Cape Town, I think he was targeted, and he saw that he's not going to deliver as an individual, and he started to go with the teammates and they are taking the ball away from himself, and that is how To'o managed to, and what that is what really To'o needs. They need team players, and at this level, isolation can only take you too far. You can score, yes, but are you helping the team thrive? And I think that is what Arema brings to this group.
And then we all know what Brandon. By the way, for Brandon Severund, it's very difficult to know his contribution when you're just watching the game. But until you look at the stat sheet, or when you see the guy is taking rebounds and, of course, adding more points to his scoring forward. But Robinson Okong.
Brandon is a slow grind kind of player. Okay, he's what I would call a traditional big man. He's not athletic per se, but he gets to his spot. And again, like you said, it is difficult to see his contribution unless you have a basketball eye to be able to see what he's contributing to the team.
Alimono mwana wa Paul. Ono yali kuwalira omuwanvu yanikoze.
Tamad.
Sabad Imran. But then the hot hand of Robinson Okong, how quick is it going to be for ALI?
Of course, one of the things that Robinson Okong is good at is he's okay. What he has shown over the years, he's a good catch and shoot player. Now, our team is going to make it comfortable for him. No. They're okay with him putting the ball on the floor because they know he's not very, very comfortable with that. I don't think teams are going to be going to give him that kind of room to touch, and so the Steelers have to be deliberate about getting that open looks, because they know the moment you get those, and we know shooting, the moment you get hot, you can go.
And it's going to be very, very tactical games. And given that Bangui, which I think the team might be simple on paper or easy on paper, have Liz Mills as well.
Yeah, and Liz Mills has a lot of experience with the African game. For the time she has been around from Kenya to Ivory Coast and to Bangui. She has now gathered a lot of experience with the African game. Okay. So she's so familiar with most of these players. Needless to say, Ghana players, because they competed anyway at whatever the Afro Basket and the World Cup also when they're playing. So she's very familiar with the African game. So it is not going to be easy. Okay, even against Bangui, who most people might think they are the underdogs of the conference. But as I said earlier, there is not a single team in that conference that does not belong to this level. Never mind Bangui and Bedford, Al Ahly, Benghazi.
Yes, by the way, Al Ahly Benghazi, but we may not know what they are going to bring on the table. We have not seen to their roster, but we all know that a big part of that squad is the Libya national team, and we saw what they did to the Silverbacks.
Yeah, for me, I think my biggest player, I mean, when you talk about the home base player, I think there is a power forward called Sofian. I think he's one of, again, I was talking about the best player, the player that played best basketball. You're only going to see him when you look at it, that's it. But the contribution that he makes, like, is a silent player. And of course, we had Crawford, who is a hot shooting guard. You know, on his day, he's going to be very, very dangerous. He's a point guard that can, I mean, he's a shooting guard that can easily get you a 30. So don't look at this team as one that is going
and generally, I just have a big fear for those Maghreb teams, all those teams that come from that Arab world.
but I think I think the Oilers belong.
Try to close the gap.
I think one of you can say whatever you want about the Oilers, but one of the things that they have done over the years perfectly is that they take their notes seriously. The lessons they get from every previous tournament, every previous game that they play, they take it seriously. And I want to be a firm believer that one, a lot of lessons were taken from last year, and you could see from that the kind of recruitment they made is for players that are kind of team players. Okay, and that alone shows that they know that isolation basketball is one of the things that let them down last time out. Okay,
Because of that American guard they built.
yeah. So this is the team that I believe have gotten their lessons, and uh, even in defeat, I don't want to look at Soil as a team that is going to that should lose by a big margin. For example, because even if you miss the automatic spot, you want to be in
Yes, at
the
least
next two,
they still have
and
to
that
have a
might come
chance
down to points difference.
if they finish among the best two third place teams. So that's it for the City Oilers. We just switch them luck. On Friday they start with the defending champions Alali. Then I think on Saturday
And they're going for
they
an
take
upset.
on Bangui. Then on Sunday they take on Alali Bengal. I don't know if I've got my fixture right. Can they cause an upset in the open?
That's what I'm asking you.
I know I'm not going to do predictions. I
No.
just wish them best of luck because
And you
man,
want to
Kigali
have them in Kigali.
will not be fun
You want them in Kigali, by all
without
means.
them. Yes.
We've been waiting for a while.
They
This
are
should
going
be
to Kigali take a home better.
cause inflation.
You have the money.
Yeah, they show oil money. Cause inflation.
Yes, but I think the games will be live in seconds.
Yeah. Is it Saturn? No,
Yes,
the
yes.
BAL.
Yeah.
BAL website and the NBL TV.
So you will be watching them on YouTube.
It's not YouTube. It's on the BAL website.
On the BR website.
Yeah.
Subscription needed?
And ESPN. No, they are free. It's
Yeah.
free screening.
Okay.
But if you have ESPN, it will be on ESPN as well, NBA TV,
Yeah, because
and
for the BAL playoffs, obviously, they're on ESPN.
even these ones on
Because I
NBA.
remember the other time, I think it was season 20. It was his Facebook, and I think he wrote from Cartoon to ESPN, but unfortunately, he was not included on the roster.
Do you have to bring that up again?
Yeah, you notice that my face, the future. But
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, I will switch to local basketball. But it was
International.
international.
Continental. But when they compete against an international team, a continental team, to me,
Anyway,
it's international.
yeah, anyway, the dust has already settled on the National Basketball League first round. And man, I don't know if the way the table looks is how you is how you thought that if you look at the end, but as expected in the women's division, actually in both divisions, the men and the women, the defending champions are on top. And that is City Oilers in the men and JK Lady Dolphins. JK almost finished the whole season the first round unbeaten before they lost to KIU Rangers. But I'm not going to give much focus on the women division because we
Not
had
Ravens.
yeah, the KIU Rangers. But you want us to talk about the Miracle Ravens? No, because we had a full segment about the women division. We shall have another one in the near future. But then much focus on the men's division, um, Kampala Rockets and Kampala Rockets, I think, and Jekyll Dolphins, bottom of the logo, and
Putting
then
Leg there as well.
DJ Power are out of the playoff spots as it stands, and I think we should start with DMAC Power. One of their biggest undoing, in fact, their main undoing is having a short-handed roster, playing with 7 or 8 if you include the other Nigeria, no face commented there, but maybe um, what's your general take about Power as a franchise?
Um, where do I start? Um, Power. I don't know what.
How they have fallen
The,
actually.
no, what the management really was looking at the start of the season. I don't know whether it is financial, whether it is managerial, but the kind of personnel, player personnel that the club or that have been at the club over the past 2 3 years are not our kind of players.
They have looked ahead of themselves since the departure of Betty as responsible.
Yeah, but at least if that be the case, then you should be able to put together a team that should be competing. It's a playoff sport. You can't be putting together a team that plays like they're in some pickup of the sort, you know,
For
go
lack of
go
of better
for
word.
lack of a better word, layup, zero effort on defense, zero structure, and you expect such a group of players to really compete. I think what they are doing right now is just keeping their heads above the water. Uh, apart from that, what Powards they are best when they're dominating, when they're at the top of our league. It is a bit depressing to see what they are putting out right now at the point where, with all due respect, they don't deserve to have a Friday night game at all. They should be playing on Sunday morning or Saturday afternoon. Really. But
But before Soki, Masoki, Masoki, jokingly because I asked him what's going on, what's going on at the club because I'm having 8 players, and he jokingly responded that after all the rotation, normally basketball is around
eight,
eight players,
8 players. But that is for the playoffs. You need to get there fast.
but then what happens in the training sessions? Because at least a training that has about 8 players,
Exactly. That's the kind of that's the kind of how
because
low they are sunk.
yeah,
I mean, even when you look at the 8 players, I don't think you can go past about 5 that really have that effort, that will show that
because if
effort
you look at
on
that roster, it starts with the return of Kelpamen. Is no longer the name that he made that. Warriors, even then, his mobility
no, but
was not that much, but at this point, you can see a player that generally is trying, when he's playing, someone is trying to limit the fouls because we've seen him in games where he has fouled out and cost the team, and then he doesn't want to be fatigued down the stretch of the game because and by then any teams, including Namblazers, fail to take advantage of playing that running game so that they can tire them. And you remember the shocks that Namblazers took. But Isaac Afidra, he has been playing since the 90s. Kudos to them, but will no longer give you a lot like he used to give you during his play. The two Elvis, you've got to commend them for the effort.
effort
Um,
in doing what exactly?
yes, in some games,
In
there are some games that they have
I think they're
left
just
everything on the floor.
yeah,
And
two
then there
bigger
is
boys.
Samad Imran. I think he has put there some good numbers. Um, I think those are the players that I think you can put more emphasis. They have those
No,
other
I
exciting
think
30 players.
you're leaving out.
Mm,
I think, in my opinion,
mm.
Regan, the shooting guard.
Yeah,
I think he has been the
Regan Lemanika.
yes. I
Yes,
think he has been the bright light of power. Him
towards this last
and
game.
Imran. I think when you look at uh, his movement off the ball and how he gets into
And
position
actually, he's a good shooter.
to take the shot, I think he's one of the bright lights. I think he's one who is good for the future. If we can get uh, what I would call the green light to shoot, I think is one kid that can get power, some good scoring.
Let's not spend much time on power, but I'm feeling that for the first time in over about 20 years, we might not have them in the playoffs. I think the other teams I'm excited.
Livingston
Uh,
is not doing any better anyway. The only reason they're ahead of them is because they won the head to head.
yeah, but
So
I'm excited about what those boys have put out there because most of them are actually, I think, almost every player on that Livingston team is playing in the top flight for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. And then you look at JP Jaguars, those two newly promoted sides. To me, they have not say outdone themselves, but
I think
I think
Jaguars
they have.
have outdone themselves.
Yes, Jaguars are punched above it really, because they have got 6 wins and 5 defeats. 6 wins is huge for a newcomer.
Yeah.
Given that I think their only addition, I think, has to be Fadil Chuma, who is a recognized big, who they got after ending his stay at UC Buchanan. What does the future hold for that team this season specifically?
But I think JT has been really impressive them for anything, but not the competitiveness. That team is competitive,
It's on the best of that basketball.
extremely competitive. And I mean, if there's anything that should have put in those boys is the fighting spirit in that team. I think they play, doesn't matter how big the defeat is, they will still come at you the same way they did in the past. And for me, that is a team that deserves a place in the top division. Okay, just by the nature of how competitive they are, and then of course, and they are competing on both ends of the court. And for me, JT I think has been my most impressive team of the past one. And this is not saying Steelers are not going to win or numbers as well. KRU are not like ahead of them, but in terms of what they have delivered on the court, I think JT Jaguars have been really good, and I'm pretty much impressed with what they have done.
And one thing that I think has impressed me is KCCA Panthers. In basketball, we see power struggling mainly because of the finances. There is no doubt about that. For KCCA, the teams in most cases, I think they have the financial muscle.
Yeah.
The teams are well facilitated, and KCCA have failed, the men's team have failed to replicate the success the women that are the women team that has reached on. And this season, they brought in Raymond Moom as the shed as the coach. And with him, he came with some of the players. He coached at sharing youth, including Cesar Chizito. And I think they have won 7 games this season and lost 4. To me, they have been impressive.
Yeah, for sure. You can't take that away from them. But as we know, I mean, Cape Lions have been constant in this race. So in terms of having what we call the pedigree, okay, the name that is like I think they have been constant.
That's in comparison to JT.
In comparison, yeah, to JT.
Yes, but
and,
then
and they have quite some experienced guys on that roster.
You see, I've done what I'm called this season, and today they put up a good result, and then the next day they lose to team which you think they were supposed to beat. Yes, they have had some injuries there because in these last games they have missed Demo team who didn't who cost them again in the playoff last season, and then some other players I think, but it's still a new squad, but it's a blend of experienced and young because in that last game, of course, they introduced certain Emmanuel Lunga and he finished with a rebound and a good 2-pointer. Of course, that ignited a huge celebration from his teammates on his debut. And of course, Coach Nick was excited because I had given him a chance and he was playing for the first time anywhere in the top flight.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
What I need from you see you coming, I need uh, the captain, Ivanda.
Yeah, Uganda.
I think Ivana needs to step up and deliver.
By that Shakira Nando.
Yeah, I think he's not playing like a leader of that group, and he needs to, as the wing or the small part of the team. You can't be playing that casual. You can't be making some of you're the one of the experienced players on the team. Of course, outside of yes, right. I think he needs to get his head right and lead that group very well. And if he does that, of course, some leaders of the teams are going to be leading by how you're showing. If you're showing effort, then it is going to be easier for you to communicate whether that guys, let's get this thing up, okay? Because you're doing it now. If you're not doing it, then it's going to be very difficult. The same energy can run down to the guys that you're leading. And for me, I think you can see how Kawalya sometimes because in terms of talent, this is a group that has pretty talented players, but the output that they put out it does not match the kind of talent in that pool. And for me, that is the most, I think, disappointing stuff.
Then Kerry Titans and Blazers, we all know they are the front runners to dethrone City Oilers.
Dethroning is a huge word.
The inconsistency they have had, like I told you, Blazers will beat up City Oilers, then you lose against 8-man power.
Dethroning is a very huge one. I think you might need to conjure up some other word that you want to use for to refer to whatever you're trying to. But I don't think. Okay, I want to start
With Kerry
with Kerry Titans. In terms of player personnel, again, Kerry Titans are as good as any other team there is because if you have Joel, you have Tembo, you have Mpia, you have Stanley, you have
the return of Ivan Romanik.
I want to talk about Edgar, not Rumanyika. Rumanyika, you Edgar Mnara. Now, if you have those as your five, they are as good as any other team that there is in the league because now you're going to look at then you're talking Fayed, Tony, Ivan, or Titus, or I think if you look at player by player, these players go so far apart.
Yes, they can go to.
Okay, these are players that can go to now. What is missing with KIU? Sometimes you look at the type of, but I don't think it's a group that plays some sort of team basketball. Okay, and that is when it comes to FIBA kind of basketball. If you're not playing team basketball, it becomes very, very difficult to win teams against what we call your match. Okay, you're going to blow out to the rest of the group because you're going to blow by a player and then go to the layup. But when you're playing a team that is going to do their homework, that is going to have their notes right, some of this stuff is going, the other stuff is going to be taken away, and now you have to work for whatever you're going to get or nothing. And for me, at this point in time, I don't think Player Titans are playing with the point where they're at a group level. Because now, when you look at their bench, you have Omara, you have Usaid Kasa, they have Lumanika, they have Colino, okay, the captain and all that. Like, these are players that can come in and give you value minutes. Okay? Now, for a roster like that, it should be competing favorably with aid of non-players of KIU. I mean, rather, but I think they've been a little bit underwhelming in the game, the two games that they played.
Who are you taking the blame to, the players or the coaching staff?
Because usually, I'm at a point where I really don't look at coaches as much. It needs to get to a point where players have to take responsibility.
Yes, because I remember their last game, I think they failed at halftime by I think around 10 points or 9 or 8 somewhere. Until Nasa took matters in his own hands and he started to draw plays and the team started playing actually.
No, it gets to a point where players also need to take responsibility because I don't think there is a team that comes to play and they are not had I mean, I'm talking KIU and Blazers, Oilers, UCU. I know these are teams that for sure have training sessions every week. Now, you cannot have training sessions every week and there is not something that is working for you on the court. You know, if it becomes like somebody needs to take responsibility to be the organizer of that team on the floor.
Yes, and at times I do spend a lot of time giving stick to these coaches. But I spoke to Julius Sukwama, the coach of KIU Titans, after getting that blowout win against, I think it was Ndeje on Sunday. And in his explanation, he said that this is one of the few games we played this season where players have executed exactly what we've been telling them in training. And I remember some of the coaches, they always accuse players of playing exactly opposite to what they do on trainings.
Yeah, and not just in training, but even the instructions that's from the bench.
Yeah, from the timeout
Okay, from the timeout or from the breaks
or
and
any
all that.
breaks.
I mean, you ask these players to go and do something else because as a coach, you're identifying whatever is happening on the floor. And your role is to point out that this is what is happening, here is how we counter it. The execution is on the players. And if they don't, again, and also as a player playing in the National Basketball League, you should have some level of understanding of the game, be able to interpret what is happening with your opponent, what they are doing on defense that you need to counter, and how they are scoring against you, what you need to counter. And if you're not able to do that at this level in the National Basketball League, I don't think you're in the right league for yourself as a player.
We're going to conclude with this with non-blazers.
Yeah.
How do you how have you seen them this round?
Casual.
What?
Casual. They are casual. They are being casual. Pedestrian. Uh, if, if I'm to use the right word, I think they are being pedestrian. Um, Everybody knows non-players better than what they have shown. Everybody knows KIU is better than what they have shown, or should be better than. If they are not better, they should be better than what they have shown. And
Maybe it's not what they are saying.
no, it is true because when you lose to
Our
savior, when you led the game by about what 16, that is being casual. That is not being what you are. When you lose to power, that is being casual.
our silver song.
Okay, that's being casual. Okay, there are some losses that you can take, and then there are some defeats that are just unacceptable. Okay, or you can have all these off days or whatever you want to call them, but you cannot get so carried to the point that you're losing power.
With all due respect.
With all due respect, you know, and lose in such a way that one, again, I want to start that power game. They had Wigan shooting from the corner almost on 3 consecutive possessions, and none was barren to get to one contest or to get him out of that spot. You know, and that is being too casual. Okay,
Maybe something the coach didn't highlight to the players. Because I've been so that's what by the way you see normally done. In most of even I think it's something that the Gazelles did at Afrobasket. They will let people do. And I think at times if you find a shooting team they will kill you.
no, when you're playing it, by the way, I want now when I'm playing as we're playing the Oilers, they played a man to man on the perimeter against the guard, man to man. Fighters, take your shot. Oxy, take your shot. Tony or not, Fayed or not, Ivan is not going to take wide open shot. And that is the same thing. As a team, you're supposed to identify who's having the short hand. How do you make them uncomfortable? Okay? And they did not do that with Power, with Wigan. And then against our Savior, they were as pedestrian. As after playing very well, okay, in the opening half, and all looked and done, they went back to the it's done. That's what happened. So one of the things that I need to be sorted with non-players one is the focus, the mental focus. I think they switch off way more often. I think whatever is communicated on the bench gets lost between leaving the sideline onto the court. One way to the wow, and then whatever you see them doing, and look, because for example, Esco is a laid back guy. He's going not going to show that he's concerned. He's going to hold his hands and then look at whatever is going. Then brings them back to the timer and then comes and then they go back and then they do the same. And
by the way, after those timeouts, they normally have their need to move their own.
Yeah.
When they have just entered the court, they find those days.
That's what happens. And look at this point, Soro, one of the most experienced players there is in this league. You can't be playing that kind. You can't be a liability to your group. Okay. When
liability to the group? Mm.
What is your contribution to this
Mhm.
players this season?
Mm. I think he also missed some
Because
games.
no, because he should be the leader of the second unit,
Mm.
ideally. So he should be leading that second unit.
Putting aside, sorry, how crucial has the addition of Chuma been to your team? Because they added Chuma, Gaki was the other three.
Maite,
Eh?
Maite,
Yes, and which one is it?
Matiari.
No, Marcel was there
Matiari was there
last season.
from last year.
Yes. They, they added the third player.
Who?
I don't know what's the name getting out of my mind. But let's complete this with the transfers. Um, the window's open, and we are going to talk about but I think we talk about non-blazers alone. There are not many players out there who are free agents, but we talk about um, maybe Chris Omani and Dennis Valong also doesn't have a team. If you are non-blazers, who of the two would you pick if you're non-blazers coach or part of
Uh,
that management? You have Dennis Valongi and Chris Omani.
why
One
would
is
I
a
why
guard and one is a forward.
why would I have Chris? Is it because the team is not good enough? Is it
Mm.
because ideally when you bring
No,
in
what
the
I want
players,
to bring out is
it depends on the needs of the
where is
team.
their problem? If you have to judge from the first round, is it from the backcourt or from court? So you have two different
No, the
players.
problem is mental.
And the problem is mental.
Is mental.
Mm.
I think there is not a lot of. I don't think there is a lot of commitment
Mm.
from all the players. One player who I've seen the numbers as we committed almost 100% is Mike Matiadi. The rest of the guys are on and off. Okay. So if there's anything that needs to be sorted with players to start with before you even look at bringing
New players.
new players, um, you need to look at the commitment. I mean, okay, you have Gaki, okay, you have
The other third player
Mandaiva,
was Ochela. So
or you have Ochera, you have
how did I miss him when we have had
an okay season.
yes, an impressive season.
Is it?
Yes, when we have had.
I think sometimes it takes unnecessary drive, unnecessary
Yes, there is
jumpers.
sometimes when he rushes on on
Yeah.
offense.
So I don't think Namble has a short on that for sure. The front court
They might have them in numbers, but we're talking about quality.
quality back. I think they are all quality. Unless you're saying that is not good enough. No, actually, practically, like if you're looking at a point guard, you want to bring in Chris, then you have to create for him space. So that means you either need to push MacGyver's typical small forward, Aguero, and then you bring in
Balloon.
oh, Baron can send
Frankly, you're not going to go past that. That's all that we had for you.
abatajja kwata mijozi gya ttiimu
But
ayinza obamba emijozi gya ttiimu
we wish City Oilers the best at the upcoming basketball Super League.
Oilers
Mukiyambi
just get through the playoff.
just qualified
Get through the playoff.
to Rwanda.
We wish you all the luck.
Franklin has
All
said
the
that
luck.
he wants to cause impression in Kigali. That are innocent.
The moment
But
still gets
the National
together.
Basketball League mid-zone transfer window is open. You can follow us on our respective handles. Yours is what?
Franklin Kaweru at Franklin Kaweru.
Yes, mine is Kawalya one, and of course you can follow Sports Nation and Kawawa Sports on all our social media, and of course you can also as well open those websites. Thank you for watching. This has been the Inbound Show with your usual host Brian Kawalya. I've had good time with Franklin Kaweru today, and we promise to deliver as many shows as we can before the season climax. Thank you and have a blessed day.